Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. I'm your host Sheri and today we are doing part 2 of the lounge chair makeover. So behind me you are going to see the lounge chair pads that I have on my loungers. I probably got them maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And they've held up really, really nicely, minus the fading. That one has a tear in it. You know, the fabric's pretty thin, discolored, dare I say dirty. But the batting and the foam and everything underneath this fabric is pretty good. So we are going to delve in to the recovering of lounge chair cushions in this DIY Wednesday. I don't know if you saw the first lounge chair makeover, you know, the trash to treasure situation where we used the paint spray gun and redid the entire lounge chairs. At the end of that video, I said that I was pretty brilliant. While I know that you know that this is true, I'm going to prove it to you yet again. Normally you would think, oh gosh, not another chair pad recovering situation. Whoop-dee-doo. Been there, done that, seen it. I've done it at home myself a million times. Oh, no. Normally, when you go to redo any sort of, chair pad, what have you, you head on over to the fabric store and you go to their outdoor fabric section. Now, outdoor fabric is not cheap. Unless you can find it on clearance, which is probably most likely not a pattern that you want and that you just settle for because you're like, well, I don't want to pay frickin' $14, $15, $16.99 a yard because I need a lot of yards. So it got me thinking. Anytime either me, any of my friends come over to swim in the pool and we lay out on these lounge chairs, what is the first thing that we do? I'll tell you, you probably do it too. You take your beach towel and you lay it on top of the chair pad, and then you lay on top of your beach towel, which is sitting on top of the chair pad. Why do we do that? Maybe we're wet and we feel like the towel will absorb it. So I was thinking to myself, why hunt for fabric that you're not gonna like, that you're gonna spend way too much money on for something that maybe you do like, when all you really need are some beach towels? Let's just cut out the freaking middleman, why don't we? Every single person comes over and lays a beach towel on here. Let's just recover these lounge chair pads in actual beach towels. I know, mind blown. I'm cutting out the middleman. Let's just cut to the chase. And guess what? I got the most adorable beach towels. This one, because I love pink flamingos, and this one that kind of coordinates with it. Now, why did I get two? The pink flamingo one was more expensive than this one. So I thought, why cover the whole thing in pink flamingo when you're never gonna see the underneath? So the pink flamingo beach towel is going to be the top. This is going to be the underneath. And we're gonna do something amazing, because another thing that pisses me off about chair pads is you cannot wash them. We are basically going to make a giant pillowcase out of beach towels for these. So when people lay on them and then they go home, you can actually take them off, throw them in the washing machine, and put them back on. And I know right now you're like, holy shit, she is right. She is brilliant. I can't believe this lady. She thinks of everything. Oh, just wait. I went online to the joanns.com and I wanted to price out their outdoor fabric. Their solid outdoor canvas fabric is $10 a yard, but their print fabric varies anywhere between $21.99 and $29. Now, this is without a coupon, I get it, but let's just say you didn't have a coupon and you ended up picking out a fabric that was printed that you really liked. You would be spending about, let's just round it, $20 a yard. You would need at least 2 yards, 2.5 maybe, to be safe. At $20, that's $40. If you needed 2.5 yards, you're looking at $50 per chair pad for your outdoor fabric from Joann's. I went to the Kohl's. The flamingo beach towel, $13.99, and the other one they call lattice beach towel was $11.99. And these are huge beach towels, 34 inches wide by 64 inches long. So 14 and 12, what is that, $26? Damn near half the price of fabric. We are gonna make super adorable lounge chair covers for half the price. And ours are going to be removable and washable. So that's what we're gonna do. I know, genius. How do you like that in this DIY Wednesday? This is gonna be a super simple sewing project because it's just gonna be straight. We're just gonna sew 2 rectangles together and call it a day, basically. I mean, we're gonna make a little cuteness for like the pillowcase so that we can easily take them on and off so that we can wash them. But other than that, it's literally straight line sewing in a rectangle. But if you didn't have a sewing machine, remember how we made the Starbucks table chair pads? I gave you a hot glue no sew method to that. You could do that to this as well, or you could run out and get actual fabric glue and you could fabric glue these together. Easy peasy. I'm gonna get the sewing machine out and we're gonna be boom 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 super fast. Come out here and it's gonna look amazing. Okay, so we are on the family room floor and we are getting ready to sew our most amazing terry cloth lounge chair pad chair covers. I don't know. Whatever it is, we're sewing it. I have my really poor, sad lounge chair pad right here. And the reason I pulled it in is because we need to get the measurements off of this. And you'll just have to measure your own lounge chair pads to get your right fit. But what I would want to do is measure from seam to seam as far as the width is concerned. And it looks like about 27 inches. What do you guys say you are? 34. We're good. Now we need to measure the length. In my chair pad cover, they do have this sewn here to allow it to bend. I'm not doing that for our covers because I want my cover to be removable. Basically, I'm just gonna sew a giant pillowcase. I'm gonna reuse this and just put my pillowcase right over this. At the seam and bend, we're about 32 inches. Keep track of this, 32 plus 36 plus, we'll say 10, that's 68. Plus 10 would be 78. Well, guess what? Our beach towels are not 78 inches long. They are only 64 inches long. But don't you worry. I ordered a third that we can cut and, make it so we have enough in our length. We're gonna make this work, don't you worry. But look at already how cute. I mean, seriously, there's a part of me that's just like, fold this over, pin it down, and done. So our first goal is we need to take 2 of our 64-inch long beach towels and make 2 78-inch long beach towels. If I was using the same pattern throughout, I would just cut a 14-inch piece and sew it to the top or sew it to the bottom. But since I'm using a contrasting beach towel for the back side, I'm actually going to take a 7-inch piece and sew it to the top and a 7-inch piece and sew it to the bottom. So I have a nice border, top and bottom. And then I will also take a 7-inch piece and sew it to the top and bottom of my back side. I picked this as my front, and then I picked this one as my back side. Reason being, this beach towel was cheaper than this beach towel. So that's what I did. So the beach towel has a nice hem here. I need to release this hem because I'm going to sew a piece on the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to get my seam ripper and rip this hem out so that I don't have a bulky hem, and that might give us more fabric to work with, maybe like an inch or 2. So I'm gonna release the hem and then we'll remeasure this towel because we know based on my lounge chair pads that we need 78 inches for our seam allowance as well. Okay, so I have released the hem from both the front beach towel and the back beach towel on both ends of the beach towel. Releasing the hem gave me a little over an inch. So what was a 64-inch long beach towel is now 65, 66 inch, and we need it to be 78 inches long. So Good, I saved some inches. This is the extra beach towel. So I need 4 pieces that measure 6 inches wide. This beach towel, I'm not going to release the hem because see how this old chair pad has these ties here? I'm actually going to cut away this part that's already perfectly sewn and hemmed, and I'm gonna use it as my ties. So I'm gonna cut away the top and the bottom of this beach towel first, and then I'm going to measure out my 4 pieces of 6-inch width and then sew those to the front and back. I don't want to cut into this nice hem at all, so I want to cut right up against it but not into it so that it doesn't fray. I want to hold it a certain way so I can see what I'm doing, and we're going to get rid of this and save it for our ties. So yeah, let me do this and then we'll move on. Okay, so yay, I have the pieces that I'm going to use for my ties, and now I have my extra fabric that we're gonna cut. I'll put those back there so I don't lose them. That we're gonna cut our 6-inch width pieces out of so that we can sew to the front and the back of our lounger so that our length is exactly what we need. Oh, yeah, I do. I was gonna say, oh, please tell me I have a pencil in my sewing basket, and I do. 6 inches. Is that right? Is that right? Measure once, cut twice. But we can't do that today because we don't have that many beach towels. If a beach towel is 64 inches long and I added an inch to the top and the bottom, that makes this beach towel 66. I need 78 inches in length. That is 12. So I need 6 and 6, which is right. I'm gonna go 6 and a half and 6 and a half because it's not gonna like magically attach right to the edge of the fabric. I do need to leave at least a 1/4 inch. I'll do 6 and a half, 6 and a half on all pieces, so that leaves me enough for a seam allowance. And then my end result of my front and my back should be 78 inches long. 6 and a half. That little spot right there, so I don't even have to make a straight line. I'm just gonna cut right where that little V is, right here. Yay, now I just need to do that 3 more times. So now that I have my 4 strips cut to make my beach towel front and back the exact right length, what I need to do is sew them together. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take one of my 6-inch strips and I'm gonna go right sides together, and I'm going to pin these together at the top and then sew a straight line across so that when I open this up, you'll have this cute little top border and the same border on the bottom. Now, if I was like really good, I would press this out, but we all know I'm not that good. So get your pins out, and you're just gonna pin the top and bottoms, and then we'll move on over to the sewing machine. Could you hot glue this together or fabric glue this together? Yeah, you probably could, but I think that it's just as easy. It's a straight line stitch, and if you do have a sewing machine, then, you know, why the hell not? I'm lining up my edge pieces here, right sides together, so that I make sure that when I'm pinning the top, this fabric doesn't go like this. I'm gonna pin the bottom down just to hold it in place as I pin across the top. I'm just gonna stick a pin right there just to hold it and pin across the top. Your pins don't have to be terribly close together. You're just doing this so that your beach towels don't move when you run them through the sewing machine. That's all. So yay, now I just need to flip it and pin the other side, right sides together, and then we'll sew it, boom, 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 and we'll have the right length fabric. I have my fabric pinned together and ready to go. Sewing machine is all prepped. I don't know, I just have it on a straight stitch and I'm gonna just sew it. So if you're familiar with sewing at all, it's pretty easy. If you're not familiar, it's pretty easy too. I got a sewing machine and I just taught myself. It's not like I'm any like Vera Wang or anything, but I can certainly sew a pillow cover in a snap. It's not difficult, so give it a try. But pressure foot down, straight line stitch, just gonna press, you know me, I sew on the floor. I'm gonna back it up, go forward, back it up, go forward, and sew. And voila. Now, was my line totally perfectly straight? Probably not. Am I that concerned with it? No, I'm not. But let's check her out. Look! Move, sewing machine. Yay. So see, that's our bottom border. So now we simply just need to do the same thing to the other side. See, it's taking like seconds to get this done. And you may not have to go through the trouble of lengthening your fabric because maybe you don't need 78 inches, but I do. So I've got to lengthen my beach towel. So let's get her on in, start to sewing again. And voila! Yay! So there we have it. And if we measured properly, our entire front beach towel should measure 78 inches long. So now we just need to do the same thing for our back beach towel. Our front beach towel is 78 inches long, which is exactly what we need it to be. Our front beach towel started out at 64 inches long. However, our back beach towel measured to start out with 68 inches long. But I am still going to add the 6-inch strip to the top and bottom of the back beach towel. Now you may be asking yourself why it will be longer than the front beach towel. We want it at least 2 to 4 inches longer than our front beach towel for what we are going to do to make this a removable and washable chair cover cushion. I'm going to sew the exact same 6-inch strips to the top and the bottom of my back piece, making it go from 68 to 80. Our front piece is going to be 78 inches and our back piece is going to be 80 inches long. And that is by design. Like I said, you want your back piece to be at least 2 to 4 inches longer than your front piece. No matter what your end result needs to be, back piece 2 to 4 inches longer than your front piece to start out with. So I'm gonna sew my back, my 2 strips to the top and bottom, and then I'll show you why it is so necessary for your back piece to be a little bit longer than your front piece. I have my back piece and my front piece with their top and bottom borders sewn together. So now I have a 78-inch long front piece and an 80-inch long back piece. Now, before we can sew the two together, you remember original chair pad has these ties so that if my arm is the back of the lounger, this would come around and tie in a cute little bow. To prevent this from slipping down, you tie this to the back of the lounger. Now, I did save my towel pieces, but I need to get 2 tie backs here, 2 tie backs there. That's 4 tie backs per cushion. So I have 1 piece of this to use per each cushion. Now, if I cut it in half and then I cut it in half again, clearly not that long. So I can't really use it to tie a bow. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to put a piece of Velcro on one side and a piece of Velcro on the other side, and then boom, just Velcro it around my lounger. Very innovative, Sheri. Yes, I know. So in order to make 4 equal tie backs, I'm literally just gonna fold this in half, cut it, take my 2 halves, fold them in half, cut it, and now I have 2 tie backs for this side, 2 tie backs for this side. Before we can sew our bottom to our top, we need to place where our tie backs go so that they can be sandwiched in the middle of our top and our bottom fabric. What we want to do is measure where these tie backs are, 8.5, and then our second tie back is at 28. So 8.5. And the middle of this tie back is going to go in the middle of the 8.5. Bring it in about, I don't know, 1/2 inch and pin it to my back side fabric, like so. Fold this in half, put the center at our 28 mark, and pin that. Voila, there are our tie backs. Because I'm gonna put Velcro, and I don't actually have the Velcro with me right now because I literally just decided I was gonna use Velcro. I'm not gonna hem these or touch these in any way until I get the Velcro and figure out hem this with the Velcro on it, whatever. If you didn't have Velcro and maybe had snaps, I don't know, that could work too. Or maybe you have longer pieces that you could just tie a bow with. This is what I have to work with, so this is how I'm making it work. So whatever we did on this side, I'm gonna mush this over and do to this side. And I'm just eyeballing like a 1/2 inch in. Okay, now that we have our tie backs pinned in place, you would think now's the time where we're gonna take our top fabric and sew it to our bottom fabric. But no, that is not what we're going to do. First, because we want this chair pad cover to be removable, we can't just sew it into a giant rectangle and call it done. We need to make accommodations to shove our chair pad into. To do that, we're gonna take our bottom fabric and we are going to cut it into 2 pieces. Now, I don't want to do this at the halfway point. I want to do this more at the halfway on the chair back part, not on the chair leg part, because I want to be able to have my opening where my back goes, not where my leg goes. So I shove that chair pad in more towards the top down. So I'm just gonna eyeball between my 2 tie backs that I made, which looks about here, and I'm just gonna cut that right off. So I'm gonna have a top portion that's little and a bottom portion that's really long. So don't worry, don't be scared. You have to cut your backside fabric into 2 pieces in order to make this a removable and washable chair pad cover. It's gonna be okay. We're just gonna cut it. Okay, so I'm cutting. All right, yay. Piece number 1 and then piece number 2. What I want to do now is I want to hem piece number 1 and piece number 2, but I don't want to create a ginormous hem, sparing as much fabric as I possibly can because I want to keep this bottom piece as long as it was, and it needs to be longer, as we know, than our top piece. I'm going to very tiny roll the hem edge in 1 time and sew. And then I'm gonna take it again and roll it 1 more time and sew a straight line again, so that we have a very, 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 very tiny hem using up the most minimal amount of fabric. I think I've heard that called maybe a rolled hem. I'm not quite sure, but still, we're just straight line stitching. Once we have our hem, then we can sew everything together. And I'm not gonna pin it, I'm just gonna roll it and do 1 little tiny baby and then another little tiny baby. You can see it's just really, really tiny. And first one done. So now I'm just gonna roll that onto itself. So I'm just gonna roll this over and then re-sew where I already have sewn, and that will be our finished hem. So again, easy, easy, straight lines. That's all we're doing, straight line, straight line. Done, hem done. So look at that, cute, nice, there's our tie backs, cute, nice finished edge. Now we have to do the same thing to our bottom piece that we cut off. This is my bottom long piece, nice little hem there. There's my tie back. And then here is the top piece, nice little hem. So this is why we need our back to be longer than our front. Not only did we just take up some fabric in this hem, creating a shorter back, we don't want these 2 pieces to just butt up together. We actually want them to overlap. So we're creating like a little pita pocket. So we want to slip our chair pad in here, and then we want this to basically close up. If we butted these pieces up together, would it be fine? Yeah. But once the thickness of the chair pad is in here, what's gonna happen is this little opening is gonna make a gap. So you do need to have an overlap. That's why this needs to be longer. We're gonna start with our top first, like where my head is going to go. I wanna make sure that I put my pink flamingo heads upright. So if my head is gonna be upright, the pink flamingo's head needs to be upright. So this is the top, this is the top. Right sides together. I'm going to pin my 2 top edges together. Really quick and easy. So now that my tops are pinned together, right sides together, I want to slide this and bring in my bottom piece. Now, the nice hemmed edge goes more towards the top. The bottom, where my like toes would be, is the raw edge here. So I want to pin the bottom of my back fabric to the bottom of my flamingo fabric. Now we don't want to start with the sides. We want to pin the tops and bottoms together first. It's all going to make sense once I find my pins. Oh, here they are. Pinning the bottom edge now, right sides together. And now our bottom edge is pinned together. So this is my top fabric. It's going to go to the floor now. Here's what's going to happen when we bring up the top piece. We are going to get a natural overlap because we've pinned our top and our bottoms. So if we straighten everything out and make it nice, which I will do, this is the foot. There's my tie back, my bottom tie back that was at 28 inches. And now, when I straighten this out, here comes my top fabric overlapping, making a nice little overlap pocket so when we end up shoving our chair pad in here, we don't get a gap. Now we can pin our sides and so a giant rectangle, leaving this gap to shove our case in, making this a removable chair pad cover. And still only sewing straight lines. So when I pin my sides, I'm gonna take special care around my tie backs because I want those sandwiched in between. Pin, 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 and then sew. So as I was sitting here painstakingly pinning my back to my front, got to thinking, these beach towels are wider than my actual chair pad. The beach towels measure 33 or 34, and the width that I need for my chair pad is only 26. Which means I need to sew in closer. That means when I sew in to make the width 26, I'm not gonna catch my tie backs. So I have to move my tie backs in. Good thing I didn't sew first. Yeah, the width I need is 26. I wanna do like a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so I need the width of this to be at least 27. I don't wanna just cut off one edge because you can see there's clearly a pattern here. So I gotta take off some from that side and some from this side. So I need 7 inches divided by 2. So I need to come 3.5 inches in. So really I just need to move where I've pinned my tie back to this little line here, and then I'm gonna follow this line to sew. Yay for these beach towels and having a line that's exactly where I need it. It's okay. We're just gonna unpin here. I need to remeasure 8 inches down. We're gonna put it right there. Pin it right in there. And now move this one. Undo here, and do the same to my other side. Okay, now everything's back to good and we can sew. So I'm looking at my pink bobbin thread, thinking, you're not gonna make it, are ya? And I don't have any more hot pink thread. This is not gonna make it. Might as well just do white. Let's just switch it out to white right now. And yeah, I'm sure you've noticed. Oh, what's that? Yeah, I have readers on the top of my head because I cannot see to thread the damn needle. That's what happens when you get old. Let me get my readers on so I can see to thread it. There we go. Okay, and now we are ready to sew. It's literally just more straight lines. Start in one corner and sew, come in, sew the bottom, come up, done. It's really that easy. And we're gonna have amazing chair pad covers when all is said and done. I'm coming in about a 1/2 inch top and bottom because my length is exactly where I need it to be. And then I'm coming in, 3.5 inches on either side. We're sewing. Okay, I'm gonna forward and back where I need to make my turn. So I'm gonna lock in this stitch by going back and forward and back. And now I'm not even going to remove this. I'm literally going to just place my needle where I need to make my turn. I'm gonna keep my needle in the fabric, lift my pressure foot, and then turn my fabric to the straight line that I need to sew down. Place my pressure foot back, boom. So I'm just gonna keep sewing a giant square. Okay, so I'm coming up to a tie back. And so when I get to that tie back, I am going to reinforce it by going forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, because there's gonna be a lot of pressure on those tie backs. I can feel where it is. It's coming up and it's right there. So I'm gonna go forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. And then forward again and keep going. Now, I'm coming up to where my overlap section is. I'm gonna do the same reinforcing situation because there's gonna be a lot of pressure on that seam as well from like cramming everything in. Where you think there's gonna be a lot of pressure, just reinforce it with a little forward back action. You should be good. Okay, so now all we have left to do is remove our pins and cut off our excess where we came in, because we don't need all that seam allowance. That's just gonna add extra bulk we don't need. And then when we're cutting off our extra bulk, we just don't wanna cut into our tie backs, right? Oh, I did this right. I think I did the tie backs the wrong way. I think they're supposed to be facing in. Yep, I messed up my tie backs. So I have to release the wonderful forward and back stitching that I did on my tie backs because the flap of the tie back needs to be facing in, not out. Because as you can see, when I turn this right side out, oh, where's my tie back, dum-dum? It's okay. I make these mistakes so you don't have to. I'm just gonna release the stitch on all 4 of the tie backs. I don't have to unstitch the entire thing. I'm just gonna release the stitch right here, flip this over, and then re-stitch it again. Not a big deal, not a big deal at all. Crisis averted. Now our little ties are where they need to be. So, better safe than sorry. Before I trim anything, I am going to turn this right side out and fit my chair pad in it. Just, you know, I mean, I'm not saying I made any mistakes, but I'm just saying, you know, for you out there, you might want to test your fit before you trim away your fabric. But seriously, how cute, right? So see now how we have our overlapping pocket and we can slide our chair pad right in there and it's gonna be a perfect fit. Let's get our chair pad. Because my chair pad has these ties already on it, I'm just gonna snip them. Even though this fabric is tattered, torn, dirty, you name it, I'm leaving it on because it is weathery fabric. I don't want to strip this off and then just have batting, you know, shoved in here. And plus, in my opinion, it's going to make it easier to shove in. Shove her on in, just like a giant pillow in a pillowcase. And everybody, please be crossing your fingers that this fits. It's gonna fit perfectly, seriously. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. There we go, it's coming. Flipper, shimmy her, flatten her out. Oh, look at that, no gaping. Ooh. OMG Magnum. Okay, and this is the back side. I feel like I'm a little long. I'm a little excess here, so I can sew that a little tighter, but it's fucking adorable. So yeah, it's so cute and it's so comfy. Oh, I love it so much. This is freaking darling and it's so soft and I just want to lay on it, but I have a whole nother one to do. So the next time you see these, they're gonna be on our loungers. They're so fucking cute. The day is finally here. Are you ready to see the most amazing, most cost-effective, just most usable lounge chair pad covers ever on the planet? Sit down, because you're gonna die. Dun, 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 dun. Seriously? Seriously. No, really. Seriously. So I know, they're amazing. And who would have thought? 4 straight lines and 2 rectangles of sewing later, we have 2 amazing lounge chair covers that cost us $25 each. Can't beat that. And they're so comfortable because outdoor fabric isn't that soft. but beach towels are really soft. Like, I've laid on these and they're nice and washable. Again, it doesn't get much better than this. I'm brilliant. And the funny thing is, I guess I have told my brilliant story to Davis about 700 times, because when I was finishing the last one up last night, I was like, oh, Davis, come down and look at my lounge chair cover. And he was like, oh yeah, that's so cute. And then, so again, I started in with, you wanna know why it's made out of beach towels? Because everybody puts their beach towel down, and he goes, yeah, you've already told me this to like nauseum. My brilliance is nauseating to Davis, apparently. I'm sorry, I can't get over it. It's totally true. You don't need to put a beach towel down anymore. The chair pad is the beach towel. You should totally do this. The sewing was not a big deal. A straight line and a straight line and then a giant rectangle. Not a big deal at all. The worst part for me was obviously the measurements and getting those correct, but once I had those correct, it was a breeze. And you're probably way better at measurements than I am. So inexpensive. And plus, your lounge chair pads never last that long. It's not like they're indestructible. You know, you're either buying a whole new lounge chair pad 3 or 4 years later for who knows how much money, or you're trying to recover it yourself in fabric for who knows how much money. So I say beach towels is the way to go. It's brilliant. And you know, I am never one for like, I invented this. I think everybody has had every single idea on the planet, but I've never seen beach towel chair covers. So did I invent something finally? Should I take this idea to Shark Tank? Point of the story is, I'm brilliant and these are easy and cheap, so you should make them. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you are alerted to all of the DIY Wednesday videos I push out, which are every other Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Be sure to share this video with your family and friends, and as always, thanks for hanging out.